So in this video we're going to be looking at the Certificate in Financial Studies Unit 2 Topic 1, which is all about Needs, Wants and Aspirations, or NWA for short. As part of the video we're going to be looking firstly at what needs, wants and aspirations actually are, how they change over an individual's life cycle, the internal and external factors that influence needs, wants and aspirations, and we're also going to be looking at the effects of personal values on individual behaviour and decisions. So, needs, what are they? Well, they're essential for human survival. Needs include things such as food, water, and shelter, and they're also known occasionally as basic or physiological needs. On the left-hand side, you can see Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, if you do business studies as well, you'll be familiar with this diagram. At the bottom, the very basic, the physiological needs. These are things that humans need in order to survive. Food, water, warmth, rest, etc. And of course, when we relate it to financial studies, the needs that someone has are to be fulfilled essentially through a basic pay, shall we say, an amount which can afford these basic needs. We come on to wants next, and wants are desirable, but they're not essential for human existence. So they're not needs such as food and water. These are desirable things, but they're not essential. Examples may include things like eating out at restaurants or buying expensive branded clothes. Now, of course, we can eat at home for much less, and we can buy simple basic clothes. But of course, wants are those things which are desirable. Wants can never be completely filled. Once we hit a certain want, once we satisfy a certain want, it's highly likely that another want will develop on top of it. So wants, it's important to note, can never be completely fulfilled. And then we come on to aspirations. Aspirations are future goals or hopes. They're items or experiences that people wish to have. So they're not needs, they're not wants. These are usually long-term or medium and can be realistic or unrealistic. So as we said, they're future goals, and some examples will include things like a very expensive holiday, potentially flying first class or buying a supercar. These are goals, the things that people may wish to have. Yes, some can be realistic over the long term. We can save up to fly first class. We can save up for a very expensive holiday. But occasionally they may be unrealistic, like buying a super yacht, for example. For many people, that would be an unrealistic aspiration. It's something we wish to have, but somewhat unrealistic in its nature. So how can people satisfy their needs, their wants and their aspirations? Well, there's various financial tools that individuals need in order to satisfy these needs, wants and aspirations in both the medium and the long term. We might here be talking about things like mortgages or other borrowing products. Mortgages are generally associated with buying property, land or buildings, for example. So if one wants to buy a new house, they may have to take out a mortgage in order to satisfy their want. A borrowing product such as a loan may be needed in order to satisfy wants such as buying a new car. Pension schemes are generally taken out in order to fund standard of living within retirement, and we generally pay into pension schemes in instalments throughout our working life. Savings are things that people put money into in order to satisfy needs, wants and their aspirations. And then investments. Investments are generally put into in order to fund wants and aspirations, not generally our needs, but in order to fund realistic or potentially unrealistic aspirations, investments are generally a good source. Now, what internal factors might influence our needs, wants, and aspirations then? Well, these are things like changes to people's lifestyle. If someone's lifestyle, if someone develops a habit for something or wants to live a lifestyle potentially which is maybe outside of their current means, they may have to take on borrowing products in order to fund that lifestyle. Their personal circumstances may also affect and influence their needs, wants, and aspirations. For example, their ability to afford products may come into this. If they get a new job, if they get a new career which is more higher paying, they may be able to afford wants and potentially aspirations that they were not able to afford previously. But at the same time, one's personal circumstances may change in that they may have children, so that will increase their amount of dependence they have, and therefore they may have to pull in the purse strings, so to speak, in order to fund that new arrival, and therefore their wants and aspirations may change somewhat. Their preferences may also influence needs, wants, and aspirations. Each of us has different preferences. We may wish to spend lots more money on clothes or on cars, or we may have a particular habit, smoking, for example, which means that our needs, wants, and aspirations change somewhat based upon our preferences throughout life and for spending money. Our culture may also influence our needs, wants, and aspirations, and the culture within which we're born into. In some countries, for example, home ownership is much higher than in other countries, the percentage that is. And of course, as previously mentioned, the family size. If we have a new arrival, more dependents, it's highly likely to influence our needs, wants, and aspirations, what we aspire to. Because, of course, once we have children, it's highly likely that they become our priority. So, what external factors will influence our needs, wants, and aspirations, the things that we need, want, or aspire to own or experience? Firstly, marketing. This is the thing done by organisations, businesses, to try and encourage us to purchase their products. A particular type of marketing is product placement. So this is when products are placed within films or TV programs, for example, and because they're in front of us, because we see maybe celebrities using these products, it encourages many people to aspire or want to own these products. Of course, marketing, we see many adverts each and every day, and therefore this is highly likely to influence, especially our wants or our aspirations for the future. Then we come on to peer pressure. If we see one or more of our friends, associates, colleagues, family members owning a certain product, they may encourage us to buy one as well, and that would, of course, influence our NWA. Trends, role models. With the prevalence of social media these days, many social media influencers set trends and are role models to many individuals. And therefore, if we see these people owning a particular product, we may want or aspire to own that product ourselves, which may influence our NWA. And then once again, our culture, the culture to which we're born into, or the individual country, for example, as mentioned for the internal factors as well, may actually influence what we want or aspire to own. So, that's a quick roundup of Unit 2, Topic 1. Let's check your understanding with a few multiple choice questions. The first multiple choice question: which of the following is an example of a want? Is it A, food, B, jewellery, C, shelter, or D, water? And when you're thinking about answering this particular multiple choice question, you want to be considering, well, are any of those four options needs or aspirations? So the answer to this one is B. Jewellery is a want, not a need. If we look at the other ones, water, for example, that is a need. We need that to survive. Question number 2. Which of the following is an example of an aspiration? Is it A, buying some new trainers, B, getting a good job, C. Going to the cinema. Or D. Obtaining the latest mobile phone. The answer to this is B. Getting a good job. This is an aspiration as it is something to achieve over a period of time. And the third question, peer pressure is the pressure to buy a product because A. A well-known celebrity has endorsed the product. B. Most people approve of the product. C. The product is currently being offered at a discount. Or D. Your friends have the same product. And when you're answering multiple choice questions like this, you may wish to cross off the options it definitely will not be. So for example, if you know, for example, that peer pressure is not when well-known celebrities endorse the product, you may wish to cross that one off first, leaving you a choice of just 3. I've done a whole video about Unit 2 multiple choice questions, and I'll leave the link in the description. So the answer to question 3, of course, is D. Peers are people such as your friends or your work colleagues. You may feel pressure to buy a product to fit in with them.